It was a dark and stormy night, and the winds were howling through the empty streets of the small town. Sarah had just finished her shift at the local diner and was walking home alone, clutching her coat tightly around her body to shield herself from the cold rain. As she turned a corner, she saw a figure in the distance. It was a man, tall and slender, and he was walking towards her. Sarah tried to quicken her pace, but her feet were slipping on the wet pavement. The man was getting closer and closer, and Sarah could see that he was wearing a black hooded cloak that covered his face. She tried to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. Suddenly, the man lunged at her, and Sarah felt something sharp and cold pressed against her neck. She realized too late that it was a knife, and she froze in terror. The man whispered in her ear, his voice chilling her to the bone. "Don't scream," he said. "Don't make a sound. Or I'll kill you." Sarah nodded slowly, her heart pounding in her chest. The man grabbed her arm and began to drag her down the street, towards an old abandoned house that stood at the edge of town. As they entered the house, Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. The air was musty and damp, and there was a strange smell in the air. She could see shadows moving in the corners of the room, but when she turned to look, there was nothing there. The man pushed her into a small room at the back of the house, and Sarah saw that it was filled with strange objects. There were jars of strange liquids, rusty knives and saws, and even a small coffin lying in the corner. The man closed the door behind them, and Sarah realized that there was no way out. She was trapped, alone with this madman in a place that seemed to be straight out of her worst nightmares. As the night wore on, Sarah heard strange noises coming from the walls. She heard whispers, and laughter, and even screams. And then, just before dawn, the man returned, his cloak stained with blood. Sarah tried to run, but he caught her and dragged her back into the room. "You're not going anywhere," he said, his voice low and menacing. "You're mine now. Forever." Sarah never made it out of that house. They found her body a few days later, hidden deep in the basement. Her eyes were wide open, filled with terror and pain. And no one ever found out who the man in the black cloak was, or what he did with the bodies of his victims.